Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Grotto. I am super excited that you are here with me today. And I have a question. Why do good men fail? Like, is it me, or am I the only one that ever see a good man who tries really, really hard in life and it does not seem like things are happening for them? Well, let's talk about it as we enter into the Grotto. We in the Grotto. Hello, everyone. I'm your host, John Pettis, and we are in the Grotto. We're talking about navigating doubt and faith as men. That's a big deal. Doubt and faith. How is that possible? Doubt and faith. Well, we're going to take the next 20 minutes or so. Let me get my timer here. Yeah, we're going to take about 20 minutes or so to talk about doubt and faith. Now, we're going to embark on this transformation journey as we delve into like these uncharted waters and territory about doubt and faith, and literally the resilience that's needed to overcome any situation in your life. Doubt is going to be there. Faith is going to be there. They're both going to exist at the exact same time. Now, as we're going through this, I'm getting errors like on my streaming platform, but we're going to keep it going. I'm not going to worry about that. I'm going to have to resolve this because this is the second episode where this has happened. So I'm going to kind of have to check on some help features or whatever. However, we're going to record this and we're going to upload it and get it going for you. Now, as we embrace this journey, as we talk about doubt and faith, I just want you to know that like doubt is a natural part of your journey. I have never met a person who has never doubted. Now, I know there's a lot of confident people out there, man, but I have not talked to a guy, friend or foe, that didn't have any conflict in their pursuit of something, whether it's a pursuit of a new job, a home, a relationship, a marriage. There's these factors that we have to deal with that causes us to think that, what if this doesn't happen? What if this doesn't go my way? Now, you may have a resolve that that's okay, that things don't go your way in this situation, but you hope it does. And then there's that extreme where you just, nothing's going to work for me. Nothing's going to work out. And you're just what we like to call a negative Nancy or a negative Nathan. I don't know. But we're going to talk about the biblical perspective of doubt. However, I want to give an example of maybe some doubt that happened in my life. Now, it was this one story I want to share with you. I was in the hospital and I was a young man. I was about 16 years old. And this was after an altercation that I had by my home. And in this altercation, I literally almost lost my life. Now, I've told this story before on the podcast, but I want to kind of highlight this one moment where I got into the hospital room. I was going in and out of consciousness, and we're talking about doubt. I was going in and out of consciousness, and I kind of woke up out of like a state of being comatose, and I had an auntie that was there, and she was like, "Oh my gosh, look at him." I even heard the gentleman who were in the ambulance tell my dad, "Sir, we don't think he's going to make it. We don't think he's going to survive." I hear this, but I'm going in and out because the next moment after hearing this in the ambulance, I'm like in a CT scanner and I'm aware, but kind of not. And the next thing, I wake up on the hospital bed, and that's when I see my auntie, and she just start going crazy. Like, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe he looks like this." I mean, they jacked me up. I mean, face was jacked up, holes in my head. I had staples in my skull. It was kind of a messed up situation. something had happened during that altercation. My dad had told everybody to leave the room. And I believe that this was like a pivotal moment in my life. And he says, everybody, leave the room. And everybody left the room. And he says, son, do you believe in divine healing? Now, I didn't know exactly what that meant, but it sounded like I needed it. I can laugh about it now, but at that moment, I believe I needed it. And I says, yeah. He said, that's when, God comes in and he does a miracle, a situation that you're in, but you shouldn't get out. And he shows up. I said, yeah, I believe it. And so at that moment, it didn't look like I was going to make it. It didn't look like that things were going to work out. Nobody in the family and nobody on my block and none of my friends, they counted me for dead. But there was an opportunity, a pivotal moment in that interaction with my dad where it was accept doubt or accept faith. Take the red pill or take the blue pill. You have a choice. And man, I want to emphasize this choice when it comes down to that doubt and that faith. They exist together. It's the yin and the yang, the up and the down, the in and the out, the left and the right, the black and the white. They exist together. And doubt exists in your flesh. And faith exists in your spirit, man. And doubt kind of is associated with the things that you see. If it don't look like it's going to work out, doubt's like, yeah, it don't seem like it's going to work out. I don't believe it's going to work out. Faith has more of a substance of the unseen that says, even though it doesn't look like it's going to work out, faith says, I believe it will. For faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen. So now you have this conflict within yourself and your mind is like, should I believe or should I not believe? Well, I'll tell you this. Anytime you believe in God to do something for you, I would say that's a good choice. Whether he does it or not. See, God is sovereign. He's a good father and he knows exactly what we need. And so there are times you can believe God for some things. You may not see it today. You actually might not see it later on because some of the things that you want may not be the thing that he wants for you. I know that sounds crazy because you figure, well, God, why wouldn't you want the things for me that I want for me? Well, not all things for you are good. And in order for us to identify the things that are good, we have to align our faith with him. For there is no one good but God. And we have to align our faith with him. And so we align our faith with him. As I was in that hospital bed, is it God's will that he wants me healed? Yes. Some may say, well, wait a minute, hold on. God, I have a loved one that died of cancer. What do you mean it's his will that we're healed? I have a loved one that is sick right now. And you're telling me it's God's will that we want us healed? Yeah, it is. Then the question may arise that, well, why doesn't he do it? Why hasn't it been done? Well, the miracles is to testify to his goodness. However, our faith, believing in his goodness, is what he's looking for, because what he did for us on the cross was his objective, was to satisfy that need of perfection. And we have an opportunity to have faith in him so that we can have a relationship with him again. And we get to exercise our faith here in the earth realm. However, doubt exists, problems exist, and we have to navigate this earth realm, traverse this earth realm, knowing that we have things that is against us. Consider this. You're climbing up a mountain and it gets tough after a certain point. Do you say, oh my goodness, I believe that this mountain is not going to have any more rocks on it, or there's no more trees that's going to be on the mountain, and the elevation is going to change? It's like, yeah, you can believe it, but the mountain is designed and it's there for the climb. It's there for a reason. And if you continue on, the faith comes in, the strength to keep going. That, oh my goodness, I looked at this mountain and I thought I was not going to make it. And I said, Lord, give me some strength. Help me believe that I can get through this. And then when you do, you look down at that mountain and be like, wasn't so bad. When I look back at that situation in the hospital, at that moment, it was horrible. But now, I'm glad I believed. I wouldn't be here today. Maybe not. I'm not one of those people that be like, I could have been dead and gone, but the Lord let me live on. No, could have been dead and gone. That's inevitable. One day I will be dead and gone. And I hope and pray, men, that we have put ourselves in a position for our children and our families and our loved ones. That faith that says, hey, one day I'm out of here, but I'm going to prepare my son, prepare my daughter, prepare my family for what's to come. It's inevitable. Living a life of faith allows us to have a life filled with joy and happiness and peace, in spite of the mountain that you have to climb, in spite of the situation, in spite of the circumstances. They're going to be there. They're going to be there. The personal struggles, the social influences, the intellectual challenges. I mean, there are persons out there whose mission is to make sure they tell as many people there is no God. Their mission is to cause doubt. And there's a bunch of people out there where their mission is to tell folks there is a God, and their mission is to promote faith. See, there's always going to be an adversary to your cause. And my cause is to promote faith in God. And there's going to be an adversary that's going to be like, man, John, you tripping. Nah, man, I don't believe that. This is that and the other. Absolutely, you don't. If you say you don't, I'm okay with that. You're like, John, are you serious? You okay with people not believing? Yes, because it's not my faith. My faith chooses to believe. Their faith chooses to doubt. See, even in doubting, you're using your faith. And that's the next point. Using your faith for the right purposes. Your faith is designed to apply to the kingdom of God. It's like if I take a orange seed and I plant it in Illinois, it won't grow, because the environment in which that seed needs to grow is not here. But if I take that same seed and I put it in Florida, it will grow, because the environment is staged for it. And your faith is the same. He says, if you have the faith the size of the mustard seed, that same mountain that you're climbing, you can look at it and you can tell it to be removed. That seed is designed for the kingdom of God. And God has given everyone a measure, a seed of faith to believe. And so when the gospel is presented to you, and when that doubt is presented to you, and when that situation and those challenges and those personal struggles are presented to you, is that the environment for your faith to thrive? Faith thrives in the impossible. Faith thrives in those situations that seems like God can't do it or won't do it. Some people think he just won't do it. I think he can do anything. I believe he could do anything. But just because you can do anything doesn't mean you do everything. And so as we go into this role of faith and doubt, I think it's pivotal, man, that as you get into this concept, the importance of either one, seeking support to help your faith, i.e. church, i.e. small group, men's group, podcasts, prayer. reading your word, studying to show thyself approved, having a relationship through prayer and reading your word and seeking God. That's pivotal. And when you find out that using these mediums in which God thrives in helps you, turn around and help another brother, help another guy, help him get through. Don't just get through by yourself and be like, man, I don't know what's wrong with that dude, man. He tripping. No, help him, and discuss things. Be open. Discuss it with your spiritual guide. Helping men navigate doubt is key, because sometimes I was talking to a brother today, man, and we were just sitting up just talking. No, it was yesterday. And we were just talking. And we was like, man, it's good to break bread with each other, man, just to have conversation with another individual that can just hear me. And many times there's some previous shows that I did about struggling, having that mental anxiety and doing it by yourself, struggling alone. And I'm telling you right now, wrestling with these tough questions and these tough things that we go through, you don't have to do it alone. Engage and explore these tough questions with trusted friends. If you don't have friends, man, ask God for some friends. Look for some friends. You need to have some friends out here. And it's not one of those things when when you were younger, you used to be like, yo, you want to be my friend? Yeah. I don't know if it works like that, but I think if you become if you're a friendly individual, if you become a friendly person, or if you are a friendly person, then you will attract friendly people, and those persons can help. Sometimes, man, we could be so hurt, we don't want to trust nobody with nothing that we say or do. Or sometimes we could be so embarrassed about the things that we do in life, we don't share our struggles with other brothers and other men. And I encourage you, man, you shouldn't walk this walk alone. There's resources and readings that I can give you to help you navigate some of these thoughts, and some of these things that you're dealing with. I'll put them in like a post or something like that. But, I would start with just reading some books that can help you understand, what it means to communicate with other people. It's one that I like. There it is. I remember it. It's called Radical Candor. And I think it's Kim Scott. Don't quote me, but Radical Candor is the name of the book. And it talks about how to communicate truthfully and honestly. And it's one of those things that I had to do for myself. To be honest with yourself. A lot of people aren't honest with themselves. They're just, they just keep it going, and they lie to themselves. And it's the worst person to lie to. You can lie to a lot of people, but lying to yourself is it's the craziest thing in the world, because you know the truth and you tell yourself a lie. If you lie to other people, they don't know if it's the truth or not, because it sounds good. But if you lie to yourself, I mean, for real, lie to yourself and then try to convince yourself to believe. That's too much brain power to be lying to yourself and try to convince yourself that you're not telling a lie when you know the truth. What? Now, there's growth potential in doubt. With doubt and faith being in that same space, you have an opportunity to say, in this situation, I would have doubted, but now I believe, I have faith, because I'm convinced that sometimes we go through the same things over and over. I think there's cycles in life, and you say things like, when it rains, it pours. This always happening to me. Oh my goodness, this is da 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 da. Yeah, the trumpet. Da 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 da. That's what that was. And you have this concept that you just kind of go through the same thing, these cycles again. But what if the next time you come around that situation, you chose a different path? You chose to believe. You chose to have faith. You chose to respond differently. There's growth potential there, because it's that moment that now our adversary, the enemy, can't use that situation to actually bring you down. As a matter of fact, he might try it again to see if you are really serious about believing God for some stuff, and he realized those weapons they're not going to work. They don't prosper. They have a hard time taking you down. And so as you're building your strength and your faith, men, realize that as you're strengthening your faith, it's going to be very difficult for your adversary, the devil, to bring us down, because he can't use doubt. And he knows that if we use faith, that it causes God to respond. It causes God to be pleased with us. And what that does, it put us in the position to say, man, I believe God for anything. And even if he don't do it, I don't care. I believe God for anything. I'm not going to believe you. I'm not going to believe our adversary, because his job is to steal, kill, and destroy. But the job of God is to, that Jesus said, I come that that you might have life and have life more abundantly. Faith brings you to that abundant life. Let's talk about this person. We're running a little bit over our time, so let me go ahead and rock this with you. Mark 9:19 and 24. He says this, and he answered them and said, O unbelieving generation, how long shall I be with you? How long should I put up with you? Bring him to me. They're talking about this man who had a son who had a demon, and they brought the boy to him. And when he saw him, immediately the spirit threw him into convulsions and falling to the ground. And he began rolling around and foaming at the mouth. And he asked his father, how long has this been happening to him? And he said, from childhood. He's often thrown him both into the fire and into the water to destroy him. But if you can do anything, take pity on us and help us. And Jesus said to him, if you can, all things are possible to him who believes. Immediately the boy fathers cried out and said, I do believe. Help my unbelief. And even in that situation where this boy was getting tormented by this enemy, like I was in that hospital bed, just being tormented, not feeling like I was going to die, my father came and said, do you believe? And I had to say, yes. I didn't have to say it. I said yes. But Jesus says, what do you mean if? And there is that pivotal moment between doubt and faith. If you believe, all things are possible. If it's possible for you, God, can you do this for me? What do you mean if? There is no if when it comes down to God and what he can do. If you can, all things are possible to him who believe. And immediately the boy father cried out and says, I do believe. Help my unbelief. Men, I'm going to tell you right now, who's willing to cry out and just say, God, I do believe, even for the thing that you just doubted him for? Lord, help my unbelief. Help my unbelief for provision. Help my unbelief for healing. Help my unbelief for marriage, my marriage. Help my unbelief for mental anxiety. Help my unbelief for repression and depression. Help my unbelief that when the enemy comes in like a flood, Lord, you will lift up a standard against him. Help my unbelief. God, I believe you. Men, do you believe God? Do you believe that anything is possible? Doubt is going to be there. Doubt is going to sit there right with faith. And you have an opportunity to say, I believe or I don't believe. That's it. There is no maybe. There is no in between. It's I believe or I don't believe. Men, I encourage you. I implore you to take the path of faith. Take the path of believing God for what is possible. With God, all things are possible to him who believe. Man, listen, that's my time. I'm gonna go ahead and shut it down right there. Man, listen, thank you all so much for joining me. I'm on Instagram, I'm on Facebook, I'm on YouTube, John Pettis. You just search it. I don't have the links here. I'm gonna get all this together as I keep going. It's kind of like a one-man show. I built all this and I'm really excited for what God is doing. The objective is to get the gospel out. The objective is to have hard conversations with men about their life and their faith. This is the grotto, and this is what we do. We gather together and we deal with it. And faith is one of those things that we have to keep at the forefront of our life and our mouth. When you speak those things that be not as though they were, it causes God to respond, because he says there is somebody in the earth realm that is believing me to manifest in their life, that's believing me to heal them, that's believing me to deliver them, that's believing me to set them free. There is somebody down there that I need to respond to because they have faith. Men should always believe. Man, this is hot off the presses, man. Listen, men, I love you. And I speak a blessing over you that God will continue and always be an opportunity for you, a pivotal moment in your life, that when you come across doubt, that you would choose faith. All right, brothers, peace out. And we in the grotto. We in the grotto.